T-minus 4 days until Super Bowl 59. Philly looking for revenge. Kansas City, of course, on the hunt for history. So this is going to be the second time in just 3 seasons these two teams have gone head-to-head. Can Kansas City repeat their win from the 2022 season? Well, let's head to New Orleans to find out. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Wednesday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and you already know it. This is Chiefs News Daily. We are back on Radio Row. We got a lot of activity going on around us. We are down here in New Orleans, of course, covering the Super Bowl as we get up to Sunday, Super Bowl 59, going down between the Chiefs and the Eagles. What's going on around me is basically, well, it's a lot of noise, but it's a lot of interviews. So we have people from different stations, whether it be in Philly, whether it be in Kansas City, or even national media here as well, doing interviews with personnel, team personnel, former players, pretty much anyone under the sun is here. So a very exciting time as we bring you a little bit behind the scenes from media availability that we had earlier this morning. So again, the team spoke this morning. We got to hear from head coach Andy Reid at the presser, as well as Patrick Mahomes, and then all around a cluster of podiums throughout the room, we talked to specific players, and we're going to bring you those sound bites now. We're going to start with head coach Andy Reid, though. He was at the main podium. I asked him a question specifically about who brings the culture into the locker room. He talked about Travis Kelce and a mixture of Patrick Mahomes as well as Chris Jones. And then he got into a more specific question about the coaching staff and who really sets the culture for the coaching staff. So here's his answer when it comes to what Steve Spagnuolo specifically brought to this Kansas City defense.
David Bobsled and all that he did, and then Spags was able to come in and jump into that spot and done a great job with the guys. I think the thing I appreciate most is watching the trust that the players have. That means that you're doing a whole lot of things right. These guys are not going to pull the wool over their eyes, and not for as long as he's been doing it. So they trust the scheme. He's a good teacher. They trust him as a person, knowing that he's going to try his best to put you in the best position for your skill that he possibly can.
I love how Coach Reid said he puts players in the best position for them to succeed. Obviously something they've been able to do ever since Spags came and overhauled the defense in Kansas City. All right, we're going to move on to another interview. I got to speak with starting right guard Trey Smith. We spoke a little bit about the fact that he gets to play with some of his best friends on the offensive line. He also talked about some of the versatility that the players on the O-line have to have with some shifting around this season. So here we go, Trey Smith.
And it's extremely difficult, and I think, speaking on like the left side, it's an next man up mentality, and the job that Mike Caliendo and Joe Thuney have done has been great, and effective in making sure that they're putting their team in a position to win. And it's extremely selfless, and and they're really tendencies being a selfless player that whatever it takes for my team to win, they're willing to go out there and do. Yeah, we go home, but it's definitely fun, man. It's just like you're coming to work, but you find fun in coming to work, and when you like the guys you play around, it makes it that much easier that, it's not, man, I got to go do this practice. I got to have 40 plays a day, or I got to do this lift. My body's aching, At least you can joke about it with somebody. You have a little bit of levity in a situation where, you don't look at work as work. It's like, I'm going to go see my buddies, man. Obviously, we're focused with a mission in mind, but a little bit of levity, it helps in all situations.
I also talked with Trey about how he stays motivated, something that also cornerback Trent McDuffie talked about, because these players not only have been to one Super Bowl, but multiple Super Bowls, especially for McDuffie, who came in with the 2022 draft class. This is now his 3rd consecutive Super Bowl appearance. I asked him, does he get complacent with always going to the biggest stage at the end of the season? This was his answer.
I think after experiencing 2 Super Bowls, knowing what it's like, the goal at hand, I think that definitely instills some new feelings and emotions. But I'll never forget coming in as a rookie during OTAs and the mindset of everybody of wanting to get back, wanting to prove that they can do it again. I know for me, I still think about that. I know probably for some guys who still on the team, they think about it too.
Now, what Trent was referring to there was the 2001 postseason when the Chiefs fell to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead. He was talking about how the veterans that season when he came in as a rookie were really setting the tone that they wanted to get back to the biggest stage, wanted to get back to the Super Bowl and really prove that they were a team who could do it again. Obviously, that's something that has really panned out for the team. I also spoke with linebacker Chenal, also in that 2022 draft class, about how he stays motivated, and he actually shared with me that he pulls a little bit of motivation from those previous losses, even dating back all the way to his high school game.
A lot of us didn't like win out or go undefeated in high school and in college, like, you know, was it Trevor Lawrence type deal? Like, we didn't have that, you know. I went to two out of three bowl games. I think we won. We lost my freshman year to Justin Herbert. He ran 3 rushing touchdowns on us, and that hurt. Those things hurt. Never winning state in high school hurt, you know. So we definitely can look back on those things and realize, like, hey, we're lucky and blessed to be here. We know what it's like to be on the other end of things. Obviously, like, the NFL is a lot longer season, so it would hurt a lot more. But I think we all have a culture of guys like understanding, giving their, you know, insight to these things where we can be prepared. And, you know, hopefully we win. We don't have to experience it, but, you know, it's life.
Has 2 Super Bowl rings helped you not hurt anymore?
What's that?
Has 2 Super Bowl rings helped you hurt a little less from those?
No, never. I think a loss hurts a lot more than a win feels good.
Really?
You know, I think every athlete that's competitive would feel that way. A loss hurts more than a win.
All right, folks, we're going to take you back to the podium now. So Patrick Mahomes spoke at the main podium today. He was asked a lot of questions, one of them being about his offensive line, specifically Joe Thuney. Now, Joe Thuney has been moved around on that offensive line. Of course, he is an all-pro starting left guard, now being moved out to left tackle because the Chiefs weren't really comfortable with the rotation of Wanye Morris and Kingsley Suamataia. He's definitely stepped up. Patrick Mahomes even saying that he is a gold jacket kind of guy, and it makes sense. This is a guy who is now potentially on the cusp of winning his 5th Super Bowl ring.
A tremendous teammate. I've been saying for a couple of years now, he's like a gold jacket guy. I mean, he's someone he's won the Super Bowls. He'll play at any position on that offensive line, and he'll do whatever it takes, sacrifice to win. You need those guys, and so to have him jump out the left tackle this year and have a lot of success, I mean, it just shows the type of player that he is. And it'll be a great challenge for him going against his D-line. I mean, his D-line has great players at all the positions, and they rotate in and they can stay fresh because they have so many good guys. And so just going out there and trusting those guys and letting them go out as a unit, go out there and play their best football on the biggest stage.
Now, a guy who knows a thing or two about the offensive line coach Andy Heck, he also sung Joe Thuney's praises and talked about his versatility, how he's been able to play center, guard, as well as tackle.
Joe Thuney is a little bit different in that he's such an established starter as a guard. Now he has played center in his career. He was a college tackle. So I spend less time moving him around. I mean, he's your all-pro left guard. So he probably did less cross-training, but I also have great confidence in his fundamentals. And really, when we're drilling and practicing fundamentals, every guy, I mean, we're practicing reach steps, we're practicing cutoff steps, we're practicing gallop steps, we're practicing pass pro. Those fundamentals don't change whether you're a center, a guard, or a tackle. So we're cross-training just in that.
All right, we're going to go back to the players' side of things during media availability. So these are 2 separate rooms that you're seeing us go from. The podium is in the main room where we saw head coach Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. The other room is where you're going to see a bunch of risers set out for all of the different players. And then there's another separate room where we had all of those assistant coaches you saw us talking to. So a very busy day. We're going to go to the defensive side of the ball, though. We spoke with defensive end Mike Danna, who talked about the type of leadership that Chris Jones really brings to this team.
Man, he's been in this defense for a while now, and, you know, he's matured, and, you know, he knows the playbook like the back of his hand, and he's leading guys on and off the field, and, you know, he's doing everything a leader is supposed to do for our D-line room, but most importantly, as a team, he's stepping up as a leader, and he's giving guys the tools they need to be successful.
And a guy who knows a thing or two about the defensive line, Joe Cullen, defensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. He also sung the praises of Chris Jones, what he's able to do for this defense, but he also spoke about a lot of other players in the defensive line room and how they really stay together as a core group.
I'll tell you what, it's a great group. They come to work every day. They started way back in OTAs, and it hasn't stopped. Obviously, Chris, I always say Chris is the piston that drives the engine, but the other guys are the cog in the engine. The other guys do a great job. George has developed, Mike Dana, Turk, Noddy, Mike Pinnell, Felix coming along. Malik's giving us big play in there. Josh Uche coming from is giving us some playing. So it's really a good group.
All right, folks, that is all we have for you today. Another episode of Chiefs News Daily wrapped up here from Radio Row. Again, we will be back tomorrow on Thursday. Although it feels like it's already been 3 weeks in just these 3 days that we have been down here in New Orleans, we have a lot more exciting things coming your way. Tomorrow is the last day of media availability with the team, so we will be bringing you those interviews on Thursday. Of course, we ask that you like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you here tomorrow.